and that is what we expect to see. In this case, both stacks are going to come down together, but we expect the front stack will come down just a little bit ahead of the back stack. So we'll keep an eye, and we expect, here we go. They're going down right now.
Oh, there you go.
See the first stack coming down? This I mentioned kind of in itself. Now look at the the left-hand stack. That thing is 750 feet high. That is the size of the BNY Mellon building in downtown Pittsburgh.
And those walls, that is concrete that is 3 feet thick. And you can see there that big pall of smoke, that big cloud of smoke. That is what they were anticipating would happen. And here's a look now live from the ground level, just that huge cloud of dust that has come up from that implosion.
Yeah, in fact, they warned everybody in the neighborhood to make sure they had their windows closed,
yes,
put towels at the bottom of doors to keep that dust from coming into the homes. Now, the weather has cooperated with this because the wind conditions have kept that cloud of dust right there in the local area. But it's still going to spread out.
Yeah,
and for instance, you can see right there, it is going up over Pittsburgh Street, up into the neighborhoods. What they'll need to do is give it a chance to settle down. Then they'll go in and start cleaning the streets. They've got street sweepers on hand. They'll get Pittsburgh Street open. And in fact, when I was talking to Sam Miller, who is the guy in charge of this for the factory itself, he told me they hope to be able to reopen Pittsburgh Street by 8:30 this morning. I mean, that is pretty quick. But it looks like, from all that we can see, these things came down exactly as planned this morning. And what a moment for the history of that area.
Yeah, completely changes the skyline there. And you could hear a little bit of celebration. So it does sound like, at least from the ground level, that things went off as they anticipated that it would. We've also been told that once this is complete, once those stacks are down, the crews will again check over that area, and then they will debrief the media who is staged in a certain area, just to let us know how everything went and more details that they weren't able to release prior to this implosion.
In the moments right now, as we speak, what Controlled Demolition is doing is they will go in and they will make sure that all the explosives went off. That is the first safety measure that they do, so that they know it's safe for people to get in there. And then once they know that it's safe, then the cleanup can actually begin. But it looks like the cloud of dust really has not spread that far beyond the actual site, which is good news for the people in that area. And there's a bittersweetness to this, because that factory has been around for 5 decades. Those stacks have been there for 5 decades. A lot of jobs were at that factory until it was disconnected from Duquesne Light a year ago. And now the next phase, they'll clean the property and then they'll sell it.
Yeah. And there's also another building on that site. I was listening yesterday to the EMA director in charge of this entire situation, that there's still a building on that property, and that is to be demolished at a later date. So this is not the last that we have seen of this project overall. Yeah,
it's a pretty impressive site there, and it looks like it went off without a hitch. We'll find out from the experts coming up a little bit later about that, but that was kind of fascinating to see.
Really an incredible sight, and it happened just in seconds. They also said it would kind of sound just kind of as loud as a thunderstorm, right? And there it came and went.
You know, and that's another point. They have seismic measures around the area. They've got 14 meters that are monitoring the level of vibration. And they're allowed to go up to a 2 on the scale. They didn't expect it to go past a 0.25.
Wow.
And for that reason, they hope not to break a lot of windows and those kinds of things, but they'll have to assess that damage.
Really interesting stuff. You have been watching live as those 2 smokestacks at what was the former Cheswick plant being brought to the ground there. We've been talking about it all morning long. Of course, we will get a recap from the crews on the ground in just a little bit.